Story number 16. I love FIDO. David loved his pet Dodo. Dodo had been with them since David was a little baby. Dodo had been David's uncle's dog, but when he moved to another city, he gave the dog to David when he was only 2. Uncle Sam said he would take the dog back when he got back from his work abroad. Since then, they had become the best of friends. David was 4 now, and Dodo would follow him everywhere. He was a very good dog, but the time was coming near when Uncle Sam would be back and take the dog away. David's parents were very worried about how David would react when the dog was taken away. So they decided to talk to David about what would happen in a few days. Mr. Black, David's dad, called him inside and said, "Come sit with us, David. Your mother and I want to talk to you." "What is it, Daddy?" David asked. David's mother put her arm around his little shoulder and said, "You do know that Uncle Sam is coming back, right, David?" "Oh, yes, Mommy. I'm so excited about seeing Uncle Sam again," David said excitedly. His dad smiled at his excitement and said, "We all are, David. But you do know that we will have to give Dodo back to him when he comes. Dodo is his dog, not ours." David stood up in shock. "We can't give Dodo back to Uncle Sam. He is mine, and I love him." David's mother looked worriedly at his father and tried to soothe him. "We know you love Dodo, and you can see him whenever you visit Uncle Sam." "But I don't want him to go away. How will he sleep in my bed then?" David said with his eyes full of tears. "David, please don't be difficult," Mr. Black said patiently. But David got really upset and ran out of the room, calling Dodo to his room with him. His parents worriedly looked at each other, but didn't know what to do about this. The next day, Uncle Sam came over, and since David was at his kindergarten, his parents gave Dodo to Uncle Sam, who happily took his pet dog home. Dodo was also very excited to see his old friend again, and happily went away. David became very upset when he got home and made a lot of fuss. He even refused to go to kindergarten the next day. A few days later, David's kindergarten teacher called his mother and worriedly stated that David was very sad and angry in class. His mother explained what had happened and how David was very upset about the loss of his pet. The teacher thought what could be done and came up with an idea. The next day, before David reached kindergarten, the teacher talked to all the children and told them how David was so sad because of his dog. One of David's little friends, Kendra, said, "We could buy him a puppy." The kindergarten teacher smiled and said she was thinking the same thing. She said she would buy a small puppy and they would present it to David the next day, but that it was a surprise and nobody should tell David anything. All the children became very excited and wanted to tell David everything when he came, but they kept the secret and waited for the next day. So the next day, The teacher bought a small white puppy and tied a red ribbon on him. She and all of David's kindergarten friends waited for David to come. And when he came, they all shouted, "Surprise!" They showed him the little puppy, and the teacher told him that it was his. David was so happy he couldn't say anything for a while. He just had a huge grin on his face. He picked up the little puppy who licked him on the nose and hugged him. "Thank you so much, teacher. I love him," one of his friends, Linda, asked excitedly. "What will you name him, David?" "Fido. His name is Fido," David said happily. Fido barked happily, and everyone laughed. David's teacher was pleased to see that David seemed happy again and would not be sad anymore.